White as a messenger boy. Both Ted Gunderson and John DeCamp used Tim White as a messenger boy to say, to make threats against me. It's unbelievable. Why would they pick, here's the question, why would these people, these powerful, high-level, former high-level government officials, why would they be using some kind of a whack job G-man wannabe like Tim White? Why do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what happened was you had warned me about him, but I had nothing to do with him.
Uh-huh.
And then what happened was a number of personalities, I guess, got involved with Eric John Phelps, and White was one of them. And I'm going, I think this is the White that Barbara was telling me about. And really, it was not a real big deal. But then we had this email group, right? And I was involved in it as White was, and it emanated from Eric John Phelps. And then White sent some stuff out, and honestly, I cannot be specific, but I was like writing back like, what are you talking about? And then he said some like strange stuff to me, and I wrote Eric in an email, and I said, Eric, is this guy addressing this stuff to me? Because this guy's so incomprehensible, I have no idea what he's doing. And secondly, Eric, what are you doing with this jerk around? So anyway, I mean, that was the limit of it. I mean, I looked at him and I put him on a list of nutsos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, see, but the whole thing is they sicked this guy on me, Keith, just as they have sicked Tim White on other people. And everybody that has ended up being harassed, he'll make harassing phone calls. I had to change my phone number. This is many years ago, but I actually had to change my phone number because of harassing phone calls from Tim White. This guy is absolutely demonic. That's the only way I can describe him, and I don't use that word lightly. I'm talking about somebody that's so far gone that he'll do anything.
But it's like they got nothing constructive to do in their lives. It's like, go away. I mean, they just haunt this stuff.
But I mean, this guy is I mean, just I can't imagine anybody lower than this guy. I mean, he's a transvestite. A transvestite. Oh yeah. When the arrest happened out in Colorado in 2001, August of 2001, people that I knew, I didn't know them at the time, but I got to know them later. I got the testimony of witnesses. This is after, I realized what was going on and who this guy was, and that he was being used to harass people. I mean, they went to his warehouse where he was living and uncovered this whole back room filled with like sleazy women's clothing and sex gadgets and pornography. It's disgusting.
Well, it sounds like Bush's White House.
What?
It sounds like Bush's White House.
Yes. I mean, but this is what I'm saying.
But I mean, are you saying this about Tim White?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the whole thing is you take a character like this, somebody who's so twisted, okay, and who operates out of spite and hatred, and he's a G-man wannabe. He made a deal with the feds and say, well, we'll let you go, but you're going to go after Barbara Hartwell and others, because it's the same people out in the FBI, out in Denver, who threatened me. I had these FBI agents out in Denver, same ones he made the deal with. They threatened me, Keith. I mean, they basically used an intermediary, and they basically said, well, Barbara Hartwell is a problem for us, and she's stirred up a lot of trouble. She's created a mess. The mess I created was I told the truth about some things, all right? And they threatened that if I didn't take my website down, they were going to, quote, bring the roof down on Barbara Hartwell. So I told this little conduit, it's another person, I told this little conduit who delivered the message, I said, you just tell these people they can go to hell. They're heading there anyway. If they have something to say, let them come directly to me and say it. I'm doing nothing unlawful. This is the kind of web of corruption, Keith, that we are dealing with. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're using people like Tim White, a predicate felon, career criminal, whack job, psycho stalker, transvestite. What does that tell you about the people that are using him?
Well, at least that's all the basic food groups, right?
Well, it's the old birds of a feather, birds of a feather.
and also let me say this at this juncture. I just went ahead and took a search. If you go to www.manta, that's MANTA.com, and punch in HEB, Incorporated or Inc., you will come up with that company and the information on it. And in it, it says, in parentheses, American Free Press, 645 Pennsylvania Avenue Southeast, Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
But what cracks me up is that what we have here, okay, let me just take a look here. Okay, it doesn't say CEO, but what it says is contact's name, Theodore Gunderson.
Yes. Yeah.
Contact's title, here we go, chairman of the board.
Of course.
So this guy who likes to distance himself from this kind of thing is actually the head honcho over American Free Press, which is a Jew-bashing piece of crap.
Again, we come back to the COINTELPRO. You know, they put out, they use a lot of their tactics are everything is covered up. You know what I'm saying? In other words, they have front men, point men, and they're out there in the media. And that's a specialty of COINTELPRO. They use the media, in this case the alternative media, and you know they use the media to put out disinformation. And if they want to target somebody, a person like myself or any number of others, my friend Gerald Sosby, also the ex-FBI agent, he's targeted for all kinds of hellish harassment and persecution. They've attacked him as well. I had this idiot, Ken Adachi, he put out one day, and the only reason I think that Gerald was attacked was because he's my friend, you know. This is what they do. But he put out some idiotic piece about Barbara Hartwell. Barbara Hartwell is a CIA, blah, blah, blah. And then and the only coverage she gets from it, nobody reads her website, and the only coverage she gets is from government-controlled whistleblower flunkies like Gerald Sosby. Now, where did that come from? Nothing could be further from the truth. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, and again, when we spoke at length that time, all those years ago, you kind of gave me a heads up. And yeah, like I said, I re-listened to the phone conversation because at that time I was a newbie, and a lot of this stuff, you know, shook my fillings in my teeth.
But you have to find out for yourself.
Yeah, you have
I
to.
respect
That's right.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just take anybody at their word. You have to go through it and find out for yourself. Right?
Yep, and that would bring us to another personage.
Okay.
And saying this has not come easy, and it won't be for you because we had dealings with this individual across some time, and things were good.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, things got really strange.
Okay.
When this individual partnered up with with Flacco and Hennigan.
Yes.
I don't know what else, Mary Schneider or whatever. And I'm like, what in the world happened here? And that's Stu Webb.
Yes. Yeah. Let me just say something here about Stu Webb. I mean, I love Stu. To this day, I love Stu Webb. He was my friend. He was my friend for, God, almost 6 years. We were very good friends.
What's not to like about Stu? I mean, really, he's a good guy.
But I can tell you what happened, and I'm in total agreement with you here, Keith. I mean, I can tell you what happened. I mean, briefly, because we don't have a lot of time left. But I can tell you that Stu, when it first started out, I hear an echo on the line.
No, we're fine here.
Oh, we're okay? All right. Yeah, when Stu had and still has, when I first knew Stu, he had a lot of solid information, factual, solid information. And when I first knew him, I considered him a legitimate whistleblower. He had the facts, he had information, and his heart and his head were in the right place, in my opinion. And then as time went on, as soon as you mentioned, when he hooked up with this character, Tom Hennigan, the Al Gore promoter, who of course Tom Hennigan was Al Gore's right-hand man. He was a campaign manager for Al Gore way back.